Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. So, looking at Exodus.
Yeah, I was just kind of poking around in the Exodus. You know, after reading on yesterday's weather report, talking about that letter to the editor that, kicked this all off, made me want to go back and look at the Hyksos Empire. I call it that. It was actually, I think, just the 15th dynasty of Egypt. I consulted Israel Finkelstein.
Yeah. So you never did link those two links, at the comments and the article itself?
Well, the article itself is in the folder now under the Horseman. It'd be BAS Library. Did Joseph or something about Joseph?
Yeah. Do you have like a link to it for the description?
I didn't know you could do that.
Do what? Oh,
make a link. Yeah.
A PDF?
So, no, I don't. I don't have a link.
Okay. So it was a PDF that you downloaded from where?
Biblical Archaeological Review.
Okay. But was that did you find that online or did you buy a book?
I found it in the online library. I subscribed for all access, I think they call it. So you have access to their digital archive, and those articles you can make it into PDFs, and so I did that.
So there's no way to link our viewers to it.
Well, can you link it to the Horseman folder?
Well,
is there a link you can do? So no, there's no way to link people to it.
I'd have to share it to everybody.
But Wikipedia is just as good.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, even Biblical Archaeological Review, they are a little. I'm squinting because I'm struggling to come up with a word. They're a little too biblical maximalist for my taste, but they still piss off ultra conservatives.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Plus, they, I think for a number of years ago, they split off into something called Bible Review. So you have Biblical Archaeological Review, and then they have a publication called Bible Review, where I think they emphasize the Bible stories in that one, and hopefully stick to the archaeology in Biblical Archaeological Review. But I don't know how hard science they are. I mean, the Biblical Archaeological Society, I think, is well respected. But like I said, I agree with Hector Avalos, who hold on, let me find that book. He wrote a book called The End of New Testament Studies or something like that, where he proposes that that whole field needs to just go away, and all the studies of the text of the New Testament as well as the archaeology, biblical archaeology, and it just needs to be part of specializing in archaeology of the ancient Near East or whatever. And adding that Bible there, you're adding actually the faith commitments of people who have to sign statements of faith, or because of the funding of Christian and based universities and things, uh, there's always a tie-in to making you say the right things or affirm the right things, and that's just not how archaeology or history should be conducted.
Yeah,
No dogma.
no dogma. So I found a thing that I linked in the description that basically talks about when the Exodus was according to the Bible. And apparently, Kings has two different versions. And I think they said the Dead Sea Scrolls kind of indicated that there were some numbers that were different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they weren't entirely sure, but they're thinking around that what they're estimating is around 406 BCE, something like that. But then they have a table down here. Where's the table? Let's see. So they have King 6:1 says 1406, King 6:1, a different translation says 1446.
Yeah, so this is like an exercise in how does the Bible date itself?
Yeah. And then
And
Acts says 1530. That's 100 years, right?
mm-hmm.
Different. And then narratives. I don't know. What does narratives mean?
Narratives is just telling a story, in sentence and paragraph format rather than like a chart or what have you.
Yeah, I know what that is, but what does this mean, narratives, in reference to the Bible? What are they talking about? Where do they get a number out of narratives?
I don't know. I guess it's counting years, counting the number of years a king reigned or something.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the math that they did up here, basically. So that's what they came up with. So they came up with 1596 according to when the kings reigned, and that might be a better number. So, okay. So if we look at the Hyksos, so apparently a group of Canaanites, groups of Canaanite peoples gradually settled in the Nile Delta, and who have seceded from the crumbling and unstable Egyptian control. So if they were Canaanites and they went back to Canaan, then it was Canaanites attacking Canaanites. Like, oh yeah, okay, like the prodigal son, the Canaanites leave, go to Egypt for a few hundred years, come back to Canaan and say, "Hey, where's our house? What'd you do?" It's
Well,
like,
yeah.
God said.
Yeah, it was, but the actual picture was you had people living in Canaan who just kind of moved to the hills for maybe a little more safety or, more wide open land to feed their sheep, because I think much of that area is, good for pastoral kind of live agriculture. And and then you had the Hyksos thing years earlier, and you probably had people fleeing from the Egyptian revolution there, and settling up in the hills. So you had their stories of immigrating to Egypt and then being expelled from Egypt, that they just kind of built the framework of the Exodus around. So it's not like a direct one-to-one correspondence of where you get your people and where you get your stories. It's kind of a blending together of all that.
Yeah.
And then in the 600s BCE, you have the compilers and writers of the old Hebrew Bible put all that together from all the different stories and chronicles, and the like, as the sources for First Kings and Second Kings and possibly First Chronicles and Second Chronicles were even older chronicles of the kings. So they had some sort of source work in front of them that they referred to, but who's to say how correct they were?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, if you had to write a history of like we were talking about, what was 500 of let's just say Henry VIII's reign, from memory, you wouldn't do too well, would you?
No.
And what if all you had was one or two books about the Tudors or what have you, and they weren't so accurate, but to you have no way of knowing how accurate they are. So 100 years from now, or even 1,000 years from now, historians are going to go, what was that Michael Brusnak thinking about King Henry VIII?
Yeah. Yep. So this is around the time that the Bible was written. So they have like, and I'm not sure where he gets his sources, but he's got like Judah and what else does he have here? Oh, I can't read them. Aram, Hamath. So this is like, how much information do we have from that period as to what was actually going on that's extra biblical? Like,
That's a good question. I don't know,
okay,
but I mean, we have Assyrian inscriptions, we have Babylon inscriptions. You have city states and things. Well, I say city states. You have cities with rulers all up and down the Mediterranean coast, and they would potentially have references and things. So there's a lot of rich archaeology all up and down, like Syria, uh, as well as Israel.
has any other literature survived besides the Bible from that
Oh
era?
yeah. Well, I mean, not quite so extensive, but yeah, there's oh, Nag Nag Hammadi, the Amari tablets, things like that. I don't know where they fit in their
Yeah.
dating with compared to say the um, Old Testament or whatever. But
So, okay, if I'm looking, okay, you're looking at the Mediterranean here, Mediterranean, and then they have all those little city states, Judah and whatever on the right or the west coast of the Middle East, right?
mhm.
Okay, and then right below that, between Egypt and those two little watery things. Okay, there's a big like V-shaped thing, delta. Is that the
That's Sinai,
desert?
yeah, that's
That's
the
Sinai
Sinai
Desert.
Peninsula.
So okay, so that's a desert that they crossed, and it took them 40 years to do that.
Well, in the story,
Yeah.
they wandered around there for 40 years till that one rebellious generation died out.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what the story says, but archaeology, there's
So
no
they went
evidence
down.
of it.
They went down to the tip here, and they said, "Oh, blah blah water," and then they went back up, and it's like, "Oh, no water," and then they went, and then eventually they ended up going home.
Well, the story is that I forget exactly which act of rebellion. Basically, they did something to piss God off. I think it had to do with. I'm not even going to speculate. I can't remember, but they did something that pissed God off, and God said, "Well, um, because of this, you're just going to wander around for 40 years."
So
So
Nedimos is here. Let's see,
yes, Nedimos.
and I think there was a regional drought. The only place they knew to go was the Fertile Nile Delta region. Oh, is that why the Hyksos went there, Nedimos?
Well, yeah, that's how why the Canaanites went down into the delta, and they became or were referred to as Hyksos. Oh, those foreigners by the Egyptians.
Okay, they were afraid to go into the Promised Land. They didn't have faith. Yeah.
Um,
It took a lot more faith to wander around in the desert than it did go north. I don't know. I would think so. I would.
well, like I said, there's no archaeological evidence that there was an exodus.
Yeah.
The leading theory is it was just kind of a gradual blending of peoples into the area that would be known as Israel. Um, and later on. The religious story was written um, in the 7th century, 8th century to politically unify everybody.
They'll wander around till they got faith. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What else do we know?
I will not commit to knowing anything past this point.
I call bullshit on all this stuff. Call bullshit. You got to understand that I don't know anything about the Bible, Scott. So I don't know the biblical story. So as you're telling me these things, like, okay, the Canaanites were like really bad people that they went out and fought to get their promised land.
That's the biblical story. Basically, the Bible is a smear campaign against the groups of people that they had to genocide.
Right. Okay, there's Canaan. Okay, on this map from 1261 BCE, they show Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ashata and Upu, or is that Uru? Can't tell. In the middle. This is too small. Oh, I know what I can do. Hey, what quality?
Hi. Okay, I don't know. I don't see where your Uru is.
Upu, quality. Oh man, I kicked the quality up. This is excellent. For some reason, YouTube wants to default to the lowest fucking resolution shit. And I don't know.
I just kicked it up to 1080p. Let's see what happens.
Oh, this is 12 something. So
what's happening now is it's just like buffering for me.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a hell of a lot, YouTube.
Okay, there's Crete out there. Anyway, Canaan. Yeah. There's a big desert separating these people. So there must have been a lot of myth about people coming from the desert when actually they may have came from the next town over, like from Richfield, in terms of Richfield, Bloomington in Minnesota.
A lot of stuff happening in Minnesota.
They came over there from the Mall of America, that end of Bloomington,
Well, that was a bad idea.
They crossed 494 and they wandered. Okay, 494 is a real bitch to cross. So they wandered around there for 40 years trying to get across the freeway from Richfield to the Mall of America. And then they slowly invaded East Bloomington. And that's how the story got started.
So how many of those towns would you really want to hold on to anyway?
That's my theory. Well, the one with the Mall of America might be some valuable shit to hang on to.
That's true. That's true because it's all about who gets the sales taxes.
Yeah, I think they spent about $20 billion on that thing so far.
It's a tough thing to keep the malls going.
It is. That's the one mall that's surviving. And thriving for some reason. That mall is actually still working. Even during the pandemic, they couldn't keep people out with a stick. I don't know, but it's it'll probably be the last mall in America. Well, the first mall in America was started just 5 miles from me here in not Eden Prairie. Yeah. Edina, Minnesota. The very first mall in America was built.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody had to come up with the first idea for a mall. Before that, you just had storefronts.
Right.
Going down Main Street.
So I moved down south here from northern Minnesota in 1979, and we used to go to that mall, Southdale, it's called, and like not too long, maybe 10 years after, I think it was built in the 60s or something. Anyway, there was something called the Minnesota Connection. Apparently, a whole bunch of young girls and women were kidnapped out of like the restrooms there and the parking lot and sex trafficked to New York. And there was a whole weird connection going on there. But it happened in that first mall in America.
Wow.
Yeah, that should have told them something about the idea of having malls right there. Like,
yeah, I think before anybody goes into a mall, they need to be issued a GPS tracker.
Yes, but we didn't have them back then.
Like like something that they stick up their butt or something,
Yeah, all we had is like satellite dishes that you could carry around on your head and broadcast, and that was like a really crappy looking hat, is what that turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
never did that. So, what else? Anything else?
You got anything about embryos?
I do. I do have something about embryos.
Oh,
Uh,
I did not have to actually take my Pepto Bismol yesterday.
but I
I calmed the fuck down about my car, but see
oh
now I have
good.
a bank problem where they double dipped my credit card payment. So
Oh,
so yeah, so I'm gonna really need one of those back to pay for my car repairs.
I have a Bitcoin problem. I lost $2,000 there.
Wow.
Well, on paper, I haven't cashed it in. Not going to. Well, last night it was 2,000. Now it's back to 1,500. So, but I kept buying in. So, I mean, and I noticed it dipped below 30,000 for about 10 minutes, and it went right back up. And that was the time when I bought in. So everybody had that in their mind that if it goes below 30,000, I'm buying. So it went back up, which is kind of interesting.
I think you'll be interested in this comment I just put
Ooh,
on the
ooh,
screen.
ooh. Hold on, hold on.
Roy, I appreciate your asking Sal that question, um, and that's a really. Now, I don't think that was Bill Gates actually a high school dropout. He was a college dropout, I know, but I don't know that he was a. But
He was
still, this is a huh?
college dropout.
Yeah, he's a college dropout.
College
So
dropout.
anyway, but way to go, Roy Lewis.
Oh yeah, nice, nice. I didn't see
He
that.
is the answers in atheism personality of the day.
Yep. Well, I actually went to college quite a bit on and off throughout my life, and managed to get some sort of half-assed degree in electrical engineering. But I don't really. I like to call myself a high school dropout because I did drop out of high school and I GED'd that shit. I mean, I thought, what the fuck? I mean, like I dropped out in the beginning of 11th grade, so that's 2 years of my life, right? And then I went and sat down for a half an hour and took a test and got a diploma. It's like I think I'm a lot smarter than the people that stuck around for 2 fucking years. Don't you? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that was pretty dumb of them to sit there in that crazy ass boring environment for 2 years and fuck that stuff. I just left. Yeah.
yeah. By I know by my senior year in high school, I was going crazy wanting to get out of that damn school. I
Yeah.
just didn't see the point of it. You know, I kept thinking, about what I was learning was just kind of. I mean, how many years of some sort of literature do you really need to take? You're either gonna keep on reading or you're not.
I was so fucking bored that some days I thought my head was going to explode, like literally explode.
Hmm.
Just, just
Yeah, I was just tired of
wow, I'm
the
buffering.
going to school, the societal or the little social stratas everywhere, um, that kind of thing. I just I needed a new experience other than schooling. So what did I do? I went to college, which is it's on by my fourth year there. I was kind of going stir crazy too.
Yeah.
Too much sameness.
So I'm buffering like crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Well, you're coming across pretty good.
Well, I think it's buffering and I'm kind of jerky, sort of. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, that.
What the
But I
fuck?
just figured it was
Whoa.
your camera.
Whoa. I don't know.
Yeah, Roy is getting some good kudos for his questioning, and I hope he's proud of himself.
I wonder if I. Oh my god. Why am I buffering so badly, Scott? What's going on?
There's probably some technical issue going on
I'm shutting my camera off. See if that helps.
between Minnesota and the internet.
I can't even shut something off successfully. Holy shit. This is bad stuff. Well, it's happening. Yeah, well, that's going to preclude me showing anything on embryos.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Why don't you just get your pad and do a little sketch?
I can't even stop my cam. Watch, it'll start
Well,
again.
we're at like 3 minutes till we have to end this anyway. So.
Yeah, we should end it. But anyway, I guess what I did want to talk about in embryos is cell adhesion, but I'm not going to because I'm buffering and I got to show pictures. And
well, maybe everybody can look that up. Do a little Google search for cell adhesion and inform yourself. And when we come back next weather report, you can have something prepared.
I don't think that's going to work, Scott, but you could try. But anyway, I did want to tell you that I've been having a conversation with Danny about natural selection.
Oh yeah.
And I have to. Okay, why do I call Danny a weenie? Here's why I call Danny a weenie. Because when you engage with him and you try to get him to elaborate on a theory in such a way that, okay, basically you got two different people, and oftentimes you come from two very, very different backgrounds and different mindsets on science and philosophy, right? So what you got is two people that are using a different language game entirely. They're viewing and structuring things very differently. So what you do when you start to discourse with each other is you try to build a bridge between your two different language games, right? And when I try to do that, Danny comes back with one-liners, and eventually he says, "Oh, you just don't understand the point being made." And then I say, "Danny, you're a fucking weenie." And the reason Danny's a weenie is because he's not good at engaging in at least written discourse. He's sometimes very good if he gets with the right people. He's very good at explaining, and he is a great teacher. Like, he can really explain things well, but he absolutely refuses to do that when he's dealing with somebody one-on-one and who he disagrees with. Hence, Danny's a weenie. So anyway, but
well, you should probably just not try to engage with him.
Oh no, because this natural selection thing, you see, he's a weenie, but what he brings to the table is, and what Fodor brought to the table, is something that made us look more deeply into how we think and what natural selection is. And as it turns out, the first time he came up with it, I looked inward and I said, well, there's a confusing mess in there, right? And over the course of the last 6 months or however long we've been fighting about this, I've been slowly untangling that mess. And what the hell?
Where are our names, by the way?
Oh, I took them off.
Oh, okay.
Well, sometimes screen sharing is a problem. So, and I'm buffering so much that
you're just trying to eliminate whatever.
No. It was because they overlap part of the picture, right? So,
gotcha.
Yeah, you do that in under brand. Anyway, this whole discussion on natural selection that Danny brought, we have to admire him for bringing this piece of shit argument to us, because it made us think. Because it's a devious fucking argument, right? He's taking an idea from linguistics, which is Fodor's specialty, and that is intention with an S, and extension. And he's taking that idea from linguistics and he's trying to apply it to something broader, something more involving reality, right? And he fails to do a really good job of that because he's not analytical enough to actually show what intention with an S would be when it's applied to a theory which generates true statements, that sort of thing. So he doesn't provide the statements. So I've been trying to drill down and come up with, okay, if natural selection is a theory, theories generate propositions, they generate hypotheses that you can test, and they generate models. Okay. So I've been trying to get down to that point and say, okay, if they generate statements that are intentional, what statements do you think natural selection is supposed to generate?
Yeah.
And as it turns out, the statements that Fodor thinks natural selection is supposed to generate are not the statements that natural selection generates, and hence straw man.
Well, there you go.
There you go. So it's really that simple. It's like natural selection doesn't say that. And he's like, natural selection says this. And it's like, no, natural selection doesn't say that. End of discussion. But no. Then they'll come back, you don't understand the objection. It's like, no, you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you about natural selection. So that's where we're going. Oh yeah, Danny is still on the Fodor thing. He did a stream the other day on the Fodor thing. He is still on the Fodor thing, and he did the same fucking shit with who did he have on there? I think it was on Phil Talk. They went and did a little special segment. Anyway, you got to go, Scott. So
hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was muted and I was looking for my StreamYard. Yeah, I got to get started. I just got logged in and everything. So good talk, good overview of the Hyksos and whatever. There's good articles about it on Wikipedia, but you can also look at Israel Finkelstein's, or is it Finkelstein? I don't know, Finkelstein, the Bible Unearthed. You can also look in, I think, William Deaver's, the Beyond the Text, if you want more information.
So in the Horseman directory, where should I look? At which document?
It'll say one. BAS something.
Okay, the one you linked the other day. Okay.
Yeah, it'll have Joseph in the name, in the file name. They're just long file names, and I'm too lazy to rename them.
Right. And on embryology, all I want to say is that without cell adhesion, you'd be a gooey mess.
Don't want to be a gooey mess.
No. I
already look like a gooey mess.
I was waiting for a rim shot there, but no, you didn't.
Could have boom. Sorry about that. I was reading Immutable's comment as well as Stephanie.
Immutable's here?
Immutable's here. Speed, do you have an opinion about the paradox of the one and the many?
I'm not sure what the hell he's talking
about. I think the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many and the few.
I don't know.
Or the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one or the few.
By the way, Immutable, Alex Rosenberg considers himself a scientist. He adheres to scientism strictly, as much as I do. Alex Rosenberg, check him out. Not an uneducated man. Anyway, we got to end, right? Okay.
We got to shoot it in the head.
We're shooting it in the head. Goodbye, cruel world.
Aside.
Goodbye, cruel world. Oh my God, we tracked a fucking Will. Oh my God, now we gotta go. Will's here. Goodbye, cruel world.
Answers in atheism.